Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for more ammo next time you play. Maybe. After diving through a ton of complicated druid spells and weird eldritch plant lore for Swamp Thing, I wanted to balance that out with something simple. So today we're building a gun. A heavy gun, and if we must, we'll build a person to hold it. Because at the end of the day, what's the cost of warfare but turning human lives into weapons with living souls flying as endless ammunition wielded by the wealthy safe in their homes thousands of miles away? Sorry to get heavy, but that's really what we're doing here, right? Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need Sasha, a big, heavy gun. Next, we need to make some sandwiches, because you're not just a weapon, you're a soul with thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. I don't have a third goal, because you're just a weapon. For stats, we'll be using the standard point buy from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, we just need to shoot good. Put your constitution and dexterity at 15. Your weapon is so heavy that you can't really move and shoot at the same time, so you need to be thick enough to take some hits, and despite its size, you still gotta aim it. Kind of. Strength at 13, we actually don't need it. There are no ranged weapons that require strength. Some require you to be tall though. I don't really like that. Put your wisdom at 12, I'd say that cooking is a survival check generally, and I'll leave your intelligence and charisma at 8. You're not well spoken, and people tend to outsmart you. But I have yet to meet someone who can outsmart a bullet. Heavy is a human. I think everyone is a human in Team Fortress, but I reserve the right to change my mind when I build the Pyro. He doesn't seem normal. We could grab the Sharpshooter feat right away, but I'd rather grab the Chef feat. Adding 1 to your Constitution or Wisdom, I'll say Constitution. You get proficiency with Cook's tools and can use them on a short rest to give 4 plus your proficiency bonus in allies an extra D8 of healing. So Medic, Soldier, Scout, Engineer, Demo Man, and Sneezy at this level, with more as you perfect your sandwich arts. You can also make a number of sandwiches on a long rest equal to your PB. Anyone who eats one gets temporary HP equal to your peanut butter score as well. Bump your dexterity and strength with your 2 free points, take survival for your skill of choice, and the soldier background for athletics and intimidation gives you sort of just walk around and shoot stuff. Nothing wrong with keeping it simple. Speaking of keeping it simple, fighters. I know your boy yells a lot, he's angry a lot, but Barbrarian wouldn't work because rage won't help you out with ranged weapons, since it only boosts the damage of strength-based attacks. So grab 2 skills from the fighter list, like perception and insight, I guess, because those are skills you can grab. We only need 3 skills, so, grab insight, I guess. For your fighting style, archery adds 2 to the attack rolls with ranged weapons, so when you're spraying and praying, God is more likely to answer your calls. You can also get the best sandwich for yourself with Second Wind, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. Toast one side of the bread for a little varied texture. Replace your tomatoes with roasted red peppers because tomatoes are out of season. Add some pickle juice to your mayo for a little more acid. Use arugula instead of lettuce because lettuce is just something green you eat to stop your doctor from worrying about you. It's basically water. And go with guanciale instead of the standard cured meats. That is a Second Wind level sandwich. Second level fighters get Action Surge, letting you make 2 actions in 1 turn, once per short rest, letting you fire more rapidly as long as your weapon doesn't have the loading property. Your weapon has the loading property. Damn it. Third level fighters can choose a martial archetype, and now we're in a pickle. Which fighter makes the best archer? Arcane Archer gets a little too funky for what I'm trying to do. Champion is boring, and you're not getting a lot of your damage from critical hits. Battlemaster isn't bad. Superiority die help you add damage, but I wouldn't call deleting someone from the knees down a tripping attack. Brute is really the one I want, but that UA is deader than Disco, so how about a little something a little more unusual that will let us shoot more per round in the end? Samurai get an extra skill. Persuasion, I guess. You have mild levels of himbo that are present. The big benefit is Fighting Spirit, giving you advantage on weapon attacks for a round and 5 temporary hit points 3 times per long rest as a bonus action. Since this lasts for a whole round, it gets much better the more attacks we get, and we're trying to get a minigun. So we're going to get a lot of attacks. 4th level fighters get an ability score improvement or a feat. Take the crossbow expert or gunner feat depending on if your DM has guns in their settings. Both let you ignore the loading property and fire within melee range without disadvantage. The difference is Crossbow Expert lets you fire a hand crossbow as a bonus action after you attack with your action, and Gunner gives you +1 dexterity. I'm going to move forward with the assumption that your DM doesn't have guns in their setting, and we're going to be using a heavy crossbow. I don't care if your DM lets you use guns. Good for them. Either way, I wanted that before we hit the 5th level of fighter for an extra attack, letting you attack twice with your action or 4 times with an action surge, and you get advantage with all of those attacks when you're using a fighting spirit. We're finally getting those gears turning, but that's nothing compared to where we're going to end up. 6th level fighters get another ability score improvement. More dexterity will bump the accuracy and damage of your shots, so let's go for that. Ripping through the enemy's defenses is your top priority. That, and occasionally turning around to maybe hit a spy. 7th level samurai are elegant courtiers, giving you proficiency with wisdom saving throws and letting you add your wisdom modifier to your persuasion checks. I think you could flavor this with literal flavor, passing a delicious sandwich to someone to ask them nicely to give you that sweet uber juice. You can heal the medic can heal you. That's symbiotic, baby. 8th level fighters get another ability score improvement so we can cap off our dexterity modifier, making all of our shots do as much damage as possible. Actually, more like half as much damage as possible. We'll get more in a second. 9th level fighters get indomitable, letting you reroll a failed saving throw once per long rest. I'd use this on something you have the potential to pass: a dexterity save on one of Demo Man's charges, a strength save to avoid being yeeted off the map by a pyro, or a death save to just, not die. I don't think anyone in TF2 has Feeble Mind or Banishing spells, so you should be set up pretty nice, actually. 10th level Samurai get Tireless Spirit, giving you 1 use of Fighting Spirit when you roll initiative, even if you had none. You keep that thing on you at all times. And by thing, of course, I mean sandwich. Your temporary HP bumps up to 10 at this point too, for a little extra thickness for the medic to enjoy as he pockets you. 11th level fighters get an extra attack for 3 attacks per round, or 6 with an action surge, all of which are pretty much guaranteed to hit thanks to archery and your capped off dexterity. But is that what being the heavy is about? Accuracy? No, it's about damage. Big, sweaty, nasty damage. So it's a good thing that at level 12, fighters get an ability score improvement or feat like the Sharpshooter feat, letting you fire at max range without disadvantage. You can ignore all but full cover, and you can add 10 to a ranged attack's damage roll if you're willing to take 5 off of the attack roll. That penalty is drastically reduced by the archery fighting style and fighting spirit. Pop that on an action surge round for 90 damage just from the modifiers and 6d10 after that if you're using a heavy crossbow. That's big ol' boo-boos, folks. 13th level fighters get another use of Indomitable. With how heavy your gun is, it's probably a strength saving throw just to fire that thing. Hopefully your DM doesn't do that to you. You're literally just an archer. You don't need to be nerfed. 14th level fighters get another ability score improvement, and constitution buffs are always fun at late levels, since your HP scales retroactively. That means you're going to get plus 14 HP here instead of just plus 1, helping you stand still and rataing your tataing. 15th level samurai get the ability that made me choose samurai with rapid strike. This lets you forego advantage on 1 attack per round to make 2 attacks instead. Since you have a method to give yourself advantage on your attacks with fighting spirit, that means after action surge you can shoot 7 times in a single round now, and 5 of those shots still have advantage. Your temporary HP from popping the fighting spirit also bumps up to 15 now, hopefully helping you take at least 1 more hit. 16th level fighters get another ability score improvement. At the 14th level, you got 14 more HP. At the 15th level, you got 15 more HP. So how about at the 16th level, you get 16 more HP with another constitution buff. Barbarians don't have to be the only tanky class. You can get plenty of bulk as a fighter, or a paladin as well. Rangers also have a D10 hit die, but come on, nobody likes Rangers. I actually thought about hopping over there to get Hunter's Mark to effectively add a D6 to all of your attacks. That would only be for a single target, and we'll probably end up dealing more damage this way anyway, so it's not really worth it. 17th level fighters get another use of Indomitable and Action Surge, which means that you can now Action Surge 2 turns in a row for 14 shots in 12 seconds. 14d10 plus 210 damage. Might cost 400,000 gold to fire it for that long, but I think it's worth it. 18th level samurai gets strength before death, meaning the first time you take damage that would drop you to 0 HP, you get to take an extra turn. Unfortunately, temporary HP does not keep you alive, so you can't use fighting spirit on this extra turn, but if you saved your second wind, you can give yourself 1d10 plus 18 HP, which will hopefully let you hang on long enough to get the temporary HP next round. Or to spin the gun in the air, if you have 1 HP left, find a height of 10 feet. Then use your action surge to make 7 attacks. Then use your movement to fall down and hit 0 HP, and use the momentum of your knees breaking to take an extra turn for another action surge in the same round. Don't know how often that situation will come up, but it'll be very cool if you get to pull it off. 19th level fighters get another ability score improvement or a feat. I see no reason to not just grab the tough feat for plus 38 HP at this level and 2 more HP next level, giving your sandwiches a big old pool of health to heal. Our capstone will be the 20th level of fighter for another extra attack, which means 4 attacks on a standard round, 8 attacks with an action surge, 9 attacks with a rapid strike action surge, and advantage on 8 of those attacks with the ability to do that whole thing next round as well. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out if that's good. In 2 rounds of combat, you can fire 18 rounds of bullets for 18d10 plus 270 damage in 12 seconds with middling rolls. That's 360 damage with no scope. Neat. You've also got 254 HP, which might not seem like a lot when you can pump out 180 damage in a single round, but trust me, it's actually pretty good. Finally, you've got great dexterity and constitution saves, which show up pretty frequently. For weaknesses, you don't really have any magical damage, so barbarians could just flex through the pain and God forbid you have to fight a ghost. You're also dumb and bad at talking, which is fine if all you do is walk between objectives killing everything that moves, but don't you really want more out of life? Finally, the sandwiches from Chef are fun at the lower levels, but really don't add up to much at the higher level campaigns since they don't scale. But all you need to do is kill, carry a weapon only you could handle, then carry the team on your gosh darn back as you turn the enemies into Swiss cheese for your sandwiches. Just keep an eye out for someone who's a little smarter than you. It can never hurt to have a medic around. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.